Experts have been calculating the human and financial cost of the two-decade-long war in Afghanistan. According to a new report from the Costs of War project at Brown University, 900,000 people have died as a direct result of the war on terror.
Researchers say 20 years after the US invasion of Afghanistan, the cost stands at $8 trillion.
Well, that equates to $300 million a day for 20 years.
And even as the US exits Afghanistan, America's so-called war on terror continues. The estimated cost of military intervention in Iraq and Syria has risen to more than $2 trillion since 9/11.
And about $355 billion more has funded a military presence in other countries, including Somalia.
And when the wars do eventually end, Americans will still be paying for them. $2.2 trillion has been set aside for military veterans' future care.
Neta Crawford is co-founder of the Costs of War project. I asked her about the impact 9/11 and the resulting war on terror have had on the United States' place in the world.
For a brief period, it appeared as if the United States hegemony would be cemented because it had both public opinion, world public opinion, and a number, dozens of allies behind it in fighting counterterrorism. But I think over the long run, it has hurt American hegemony in this sense. We've used resources that can't be taken back and used on something else. That is political resources, economic resources, and environmental resources. And we've also done great damage, I think, to the domestic economy of the United States by not investing in things that we should have invested in over the last 20 years. So overall, I think that diminishes the United States' position in the world. It may not be evident, but I believe that we're on a decline path. It's certainly evident with regard to China, which is on an upward trajectory.
How would you explain the scale of the American-led war on terror? We know about Iraq and Afghanistan with the biggest footprints, but it was much larger than that.
That's correct. Since 9/11, the United States has conducted counterterror operations in about 85 countries. In addition to that, we have to recall that over $1 trillion has been spent in the United States on counterterrorism, which includes inspecting every container that comes into the United States, as well as every person and their luggage, and preparing against chemical and biological attacks and so on. So the United States' scale of mobilization for the global war on terror has been enormous.
And apart from the financial side, what do we know about the impact of all those lives lost over the 20 years and those whose lives changed forever?
Well, we have to think about this in sort of three baskets. There are the people who've been killed by bombs, bullets, fire, and shrapnel, and those who are injured by those direct means as well. And those are hundreds of thousands, about 800 or 900,000 people have been killed directly, civilians, police, military, in these major war zones. Then there are also the people who are harmed indirectly. And those are the people who, because of the destruction of infrastructure, have been unable to get good health care, safe drinking water, access to the fields where they could grow food. So that's indirect or reverberating consequences of war. And those consequences are ones that last beyond the active fighting. They will last for many years. And then finally, there are the refugees, millions of refugees in close to, let's say, Iraq and Afghanistan, in Iran, in Turkey, but also spread throughout the world. Those people as well are internally displaced, and they may in some cases eventually make their way out of the war zones.